Just a friendly reminder that Bottom Bash 2021 is about to be executed. Get ready to hit your enter keys 1, 2, 3. Coming this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Further information, please hit the FB Robbi Tech website. It's our official sister site available on Facebook. And yeah, hope to see you there, guys. Let's go. Land 2021. Land the fuck away. Here we go. And again, welcome all to Robbi Tech. So just a quick announcement, well, not an announcement should I say, but we've got our question of the day, and I believe I've quickly got it saved just over here. We're looking at getting a new monitor soon. I'm only running a 1660 Super. Is there any point in getting, say, a 1440p monitor, or should I just go with a 1080p monitor, people? And I would say go with a 1080p straight away, please. That 1660 Super is okay, but you want to be realistic. If you're playing the new school games, then those new school games, I would probably verge on the eyes of a 1080p. Wait for your next upgrade. But if you're willing to spend, get that 144Hz 1440p monitor. That 660 may be able to push some games. Some games, I tell you, as a super variety. Hopefully GDR6, okay? If that's the case, hopefully he could get some of those esport titles definitely up there. Otherwise, at 144Hz. 1080p, otherwise drop it down if you're not willing to spend and you're not willing to future-proof yourself as well. Okay guys, so let's move into something different, which is the PC Master Race in the FB marketplace. Let's go. Let's go. My name is Robbie Astral and you have stumbled upon Robbi Tech. Welcome all, and welcome to today's show pertaining to the PC Master Race in the FB marketplace. So we're going to be establishing, just a general guide of sorts. We're going to be delving into the marketplace on FB and essentially dissecting a few of the used parts, bargains, PC parts that we can, generally speaking, muster up that are of a great deal and of interest to us. So without a moment's further ado, let's get stuck right in. Alrighty, here we go, people. So essentially, I'm going to tape it back down. I've got my special key today. It brings me good luck, y'all. It's my special key. So we're going to get stuck right on into it. But before that, just a friendly announcement from our FB unofficial sister site on Facebook that everyone should actually run down to and also follow if you have the chance. So let us get stuck right in and let us then get into a bit of a trance as we dissect the parts from PC Master Race / FB Marketplace. Let's go. So yeah guys, welcome all, welcome to Robbi Tech again. Let's get stuck right on into it. So today is one of those days where it's getting cold outside. The autumn is starting to rock right on in. Now the problem with that is it's honestly already freezing. But look, we got some interesting deals already. I've been scrolling through this list and this is a list populated for myself. Look, there's an RX 474 gigabytes. That's pretty swell. A 140. Yeah, I guess that's okay for a starting price. So that's something that you probably would want to definitely consider. Good working condition, pick up Richmond. So if you're in that area, look, get yourself a Nitro Sapphire. That's okay, boost clocks weren't as high as they probably could have been pertaining to some equivalent rival cards of that era. But to be brutally honest, It's a solid card. It's a 480 would have been nicer, but you can't complain too much there. So look, it looks clean. It looks almost pristine, frankly. Oh, look, no one ever actually cleans that shit properly. Frankly, I've realised it's getting a little bit odd. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think handing a card over with no dust is probably better than lots of dust. But saying you pulled it apart to apply thermal paste, that may beg some questions depending on who you are and where you're buying it and how you're sussing off the environment. But look, on the other hand, we've got a GDX 1070 right next to it. So 1050, you beg your pardon. I thought I saw a 1070 for 170. No, it's a 1050, and it's also a Asus GeForce One GTX 1050 Ti, one fan, barely a heatsink on it. Graphics card for entry gamers. It's been used but still in great condition. I no longer need this, and I've recently upgraded. The graphics card will also come with the box. That's great. We're going to put it in with the computer without the box. And at that age, it really won't make too much difference regarding a new system that you're integrating in that regards. But look, to be really honest, it's a decent card. They're good cards, but at $170, I probably want to be starting at around $150, $140 as well, just like we had that previous card of ours, the RX 474GB card equivalent. So that's where you want to be starting with that. There'll probably be only about a $10 differential between those cards. Honestly, as well, one of these cards, you think Asus was good, they were great, but that was an era where they had at one stage pedigree products, okay, and their lower end spectrum of cards essentially. So their lower end spectrum cards weren't as favorable, okay, and that's where they made their money because of their prestigious cards, their ROG Strix in that regards. And that tough series was really mediocre at one stage, frankly, and probably to some degree in some departments still is. I bought a laptop that's a tough one just a few years ago in that regards, and it was shonky as. But on a side note, if you're looking for something, even MSI, like MSI gets a bad name, frankly. I love MSI products at times. Is that MSI or is that MSI? But see, that's a 1050 Ti as well. See, it's got one fan, it's got two fans. They could add two fans on. That heatsink is pretty decent. And that's a 1050 Ti model as well, but it's an OC model also. So I don't know if that's an overclock or if that's an overclock. This runs pretty high regarding the boost frequencies. I did a light overclock on it just to see how it's running, just to see what it's capable of. It wasn't really used much, that's just the point. I didn't want to hammer it for the fuck of it when I wasn't really utilizing it in the PC specifically. It's just more a placeholder in my 3900 XT system, which is currently on the mends. So for more details about that, you can just pretty much chuck on the last episode. I do a little bit of a quick skit at the beginning, which tells you all about the scenario and the situation. It's pretty much up shit creek, frankly, the scenario and the situation itself for myself and the chip. But yeah, so to cut a long story short, this guy's got GeForce GTX 1050 Ti there. It's a decent card. Talk him down to 140, 130, please. Let's get this shit rolling. As soon as these cards start appearing again, these will be valueless, and these people are asking a lot of money. We'll go back to the PC parts hunt and see if we can find anything else of interest. So we got an RTX 3070GB, just MSRP price for sale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ain't they convenient for you? One more, please. So I have a sale. Please make me a serious offer. Oh, a serious offer. I'm not scalping prices. I just want the current retail price for it. It comes with the full invoice and warranty. Bought at Scorptech. Please send me offers to go ASAP. Okay, pick up Hampton, Melbourne. Right. You got a new card and yet you couldn't put the new card image in? Come on, mate. Like how do we know it's new? I want to see if that's been mined on it all. I want to know if you bother clean that dust off, you use it for a little bit. Why are you selling it? What happened? It was one of the black screening ones. It could have been a black screening one. Have you fixed that problem? Has it been fixed? Is it still an issue? We need to know this, please. Nicorette likes, he's an ambassador for Nicorette. It'd be great for him if he was doing something like that. Unfortunately, he's not an ambassador for Gigabyte, and he's clickbaited us with the MSRP price sort of approach. We know that's not the case. He wants an offer. He definitely wants more, because we can go back. It's very easy for him to go to ScorpTech and see what it's priced at while it's out of stock as well. So I don't know why he doesn't do that and just put the price up, frankly. But anyway, that's good, because that's a great image from Nicorette. I like that, and I'm probably going to edit this last part out. But thank you, Nicorette. He's from around the Hawthorne area in Melbourne, and he likes to frequent places like Footscray Bars and St Kilda, and he's a good fellow though, so let's not fret. If he gives you a deal that isn't too much of a steal, then you got yourself a 3000 series card finally. Let's go, if it's not dusty and manky. Okay, so that gets us into some little essentials. We got the essential items, so GT 1030 2GB graphics card. Let's have a look. Ooh, nice. It's a 1032 gigabyte and other components. $50 in stock. I hope that's $50 for a lot of them. That would be pretty awesome. So it's got a HDMI, it's got a DVI port as well, so it'll probably support 2 monitors, probably, you hope. With 2 gigabytes, and more than likely does. I doubt you're running 2 games at the same time. What do we got here? 2 gigabytes DDR2, 800 megahertz. That's pretty cool. It's got 4 gigabytes of that. So that's at the 800 megahertz range. So, and that's about it. So 2 gigabyte graphics card and other components. Let's have a look at his other components that he doesn't have a photo of. DVD drive, DVD rewritable drive, $5 each. Lots of other spares, writing fans and motherboard, lots of other spares. He repeats himself. Please just ask if I've got, and I'll let you know a price if I do. Just finished building my second gaming PC, so lots of spares needing gone. Jeez, okay. So he just finished. He's got the spares from his gaming DDR2 800 megahertz RAM PC. I mean, that's great. Look, honestly, to be brutally honest with you, if you need some DDR2 RAM, just come to me, frankly. I've got some DDR2 RAM over here. That's 1066 megahertz. That's 800 megahertz. This is only 1 gigabyte module, surprisingly. Great for overclocking. I got 2 of those. But if you're after 2 gigabyte modules as well, to be frank, I've got that green PCB, sort of that PCB board. We've got some of that as well over here. You know what I mean? So they're 2 gigabyte modules, but no one seems to want them because they don't understand what DDR2 RAM is nowadays. 1066 is generally megahertz is the top out. That's also known as 8800 in that regard. 6400 is your 800 megahertz equivalent, and that's something to be looking at when you're shopping around for a legacy system that you're trying to bring back to life. If you're planning on doing some overclocking and not really do too much with the OS, then you can get away with 4 gigabytes definitely quite easily, even with Windows 10 today, to do some sampling / benchmarking of that system. It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of great time to be doing some comparisons depending on the type of year that you're comparing to and from, and how they potentially perform today. They can be just used for general multi-purpose PCs with nothing special being required from them except emails and of course web browsing and whatnot. And with that 2 gigabyte graphics card, that would be perfect, especially if you got 4 DIMMs and 4 modules available for those DIMMs. Then deck it out with 8 gigabytes of DDR2. If you got 1066, perfect. Then you're going to be set still for this day and age. Frankly, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As long as they're good system integrators and optimizers, they will set you and hook you up correctly. Okay, don't spend too much though. Understand that there is a performance drop regarding this, say DDR3 RAM, regarding this to definitely DDR4 RAM. So it's something you want to consider when you're purchasing these type of PCs. And if you've got some between $200 to $300 completely decked out, understand that might be a taker as opposed to $400 or $500 for something mediocre that's potentially got newer parts. Now, depending on what you're using and what you're going to be using it for and how long you plan to have it, okay, the funny part is you can also luck out. If you're a savvy sort of a person, you may find yourself something that if you part that on eBay, you could be coming back with $600-700, you know, from a real easy transaction, because some of those legacy boards still fetch some top dollar. Okay guys, so we're not going to stagnate too long on that. So here we got a GTX 560. That's interesting. The video graphics card, $50, was 60 in stock. That's a 560, so that again is a 2GB card for $50. It's an interesting buy. It's got the box and everything. By this day and age, this is just going chucking it straight into a system or anything. And it's, look, it's actually 1GB GDR5. So I do lie. I apologize. I made a mistake there, because I'm terrible at that. When I'm sitting here, got a 560 just in my hands, just over here. And that's a 560 GTX as well. That's an Asus one. And the cool part is, I believe I noticed one of these in the bind itself earlier on. So I think we might even be getting to it sooner rather than later. But that, I was thinking, like, if I sold it, it wouldn't be worth more than $30. It's a very nice, pretty looking card, and frankly, it's very, very new looking. It's like it hasn't been touched, hasn't been used. It just got pulled out new from someone's used parts bin / for the last, you know, 5, 6, 7 years in that regards. So let's pop that away and let's continue on, because for $50 it is a bit of a stretch. You're not going to get much out of the card except for it as a booting card. A booting card, I mean that, say if you're a parts hunter, parts buyer, you're a system buyer, you want to go test out something and you just need something that's not going to blow up in your face, then you can definitely use something like this. Apart from that, a general PC that hasn't got, say, a integrated GPU into the chip itself, so this is a discrete graphics card, and in that eyes you can pretty much light up any PC and get it running at least. So it's another thing to consider as well. If you say just want the general drivers, make sure everything's working, it's totally fine. $40 tops for that one, frankly. Let's move on. So that's that there. So I apologize guys, sometimes I forget to put the camera back as well. Let's get into it though. So LGA 775 Asus P5K PL, that's a motherboard I'm guessing, 1600 and parts. The board consists of RAM, 3GB DDR2 memory, 2 by 500 MHz, 2 by 100 MHz. Very weird concoction there. GPU, we'll get into that further on down the track, especially if I believe I skimmed over something earlier on as well, which I'm meaning to get back to before it's sold, just to analyze what that guy actually said or wrote down, frankly, because I wasn't 100% sure and it sort of blew my mind. So my motherboard, Asus, yeah, interesting. Core 2 Duo 8400. That's an interesting chip. It can Core 2 Duo. It's not the Core 2 Duo Quad, I don't believe. And we need to go to ARC. Yeah, ARC is one of my favorite websites. Thankyou Intel. AMD still to this day does not have a direct sort of equivalent, and it annoys the hell out of me, frankly. AMD, what are you doing? Please, I appeal to you. Please bring that ARC to AMD and give us our specs regarding our old school to new school Ryzen chips, especially. Please, just a go-to one-stop shop. Anyway, so we get back to it. So look, I also have cases if you'd like a deal for my motherboard in case to go off for 60, but this is negotiable. Pick up in Deer Park. So this is coming from Timothy Harris, and Timothy is a lovely fella. For $30, I'll take that. I'll take that CPU, I'll take that board, and I'll take that RAM. Let's go. With a case included for 60, I guess. So the cases hopefully are nice. It's got maybe a picture. I don't know if that's $30 separate for the board and the CPU. He's got a card in there as well. The funny part was, if it was, it'd be a real shame, because there's a debate how much you're going to get from it. It's not like it's a pedigree board or anything. I've got a couple of DDR2 running boards which I could show you guys, but they're Silent Pipe Gigabyte. So Silent Pipe Gigabyte, we'll have a look if we can find a picture of them. For $30, that could be interesting as a bargain deal. But so there's a Silent Pipe. I'm going to try to Control Plus that for a second. We're going to see if we can get in just a bit closer. You can see that's got a massive heatsink. It'll take a Core 2 Extreme. It's got 4 DIMM slots ready for roll. So it's something like this, DDR2 equivalent with a CPU. You know, the amount of copper there as well, it's going to chuck the value up a few dollars. It's really, really funny, frankly, because you could get 8 gigabytes, and this is the perfect board I was referring to. I have a couple of these for sale, CPU and mystery chip combo for $50. Have some fun. You negotiate with me. I'll chuck in a couple other 775 CPUs just for the hell of it. Just take it if you want to do something interesting. Then I'm glad it's getting a new home. Okay, so the funny part is, if we drop that back, you know, the funny part is the amount of copper on that, frankly, you'd think it'd be worth an arm and a leg, but honestly, this amount of copper would be worth an arm and a leg. That's about 700 grams of copper. It's quite weighty if you look at it. This is from a CPU cooler, server grade, and that in this day and age is worth about $2, frankly. So it's a shame, because, you know, it should be worth its weight in gold, worth no more than $3 Australian dollars. That's how much they'll give you. Okay, this completely legit copper, no mess, no fuss, big ass block, and if that was gold, it'd be worth like 30k more plus. So that's the funny part when you think about it. And they're wanting to skimp out people on the precious resource, which is the cooling capabilities of the copper metal. How dare manufacturing, how dare those bad big boogie monster people, frankly, how dare they deal with that copper like that. So guys, we're going to continue on, because we're just gonna cruise. So Asus GTX 670 graphics card, direct CUII. I don't actually know what that means. I'm not the go-to for everything, but I like to be knowledgeable enough that I don't have to refer to my phone when I'm buying and purchasing items like I'm just looking it up last minute. I like to execute instantaneously, get that item and snipe at people before they have a chance, so that it's cut and dry, set, done, deal over. I hate those. I can sense a buyer, I can sense a seller out. I don't have time for people like that when they sort of start to play that angle where just give me a second. I got, you know, if they are responsive instantaneously, it means they're trying to juggle a better price, which is totally fine for them, but don't waste my time, please. I'm a serious buyer when I am. On the other hand, buyers, beware. I write it all in the description. I'm very fair. Don't treat me like an imbecile, please. Okay, I can be your friend. I can help you with ease, but understand, if you're wasting my time, I'm going to be a grown-up man. Okay, so let's go, people. We got our Asus GTX 670 graphics card, 2GB, $80. It's a little bit of a rip. Lower house gaming, lower load as well, because used at office computer for a year, removed as I moved to the smaller tower. It was running fine, sitting in a box ever since. So what did he extra $10 if shipped? So that's interesting, because he's got a few pics of it. It looks very, very clean. I like this. $80 from 130, definitely not. 130 never would have gone near it. Okay, look at that. It's like a rehash of that 560, but you have to understand, this is a 2GB card according to what is advertised here. So with 2GB in mind, you have to really reconsider the fact that, is it worth anything in this day and age? It's getting to that level where it's not very nice, frankly. 2GB ain't definitely enough, but like I said previously, in general, dropping to 70, maybe we start talking. Any lower than that, and perhaps it's a deal instantaneously, frankly, depending on if you need a GPU with 2GB, and that's the Okay, so let us move on to, as I move our dairy airs, frankly. And here we got, what have we got here? We've got a TP-Link Archer T6E AC 1300 dual band PCI Wi-Fi card. That's available around Glen Waverley, Knoxville. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. You've got 94 stars. A person of Michael's caliber definitely deserves a second look, okay? 94 stars means he's got some sales oomph behind him. He's backed in some way. People are betting for him. They've gone out of their way to bet this young man in some way, shape or form. And Michael Hayward, he deserves a shout out. We're going to analyze your prices as well, buddy, but it's not all good news, just letting you know, okay? TP Link. So if you watch my previous episode of PC Master Race FB Marketplace, you will find in episode 2 of season 1 that I am discussing these type of PCIe cards related, because I was literally selling some while the episode was in progression. Okay, I was asking eventually the same price, $30. The difference was I did start and sold the first one for 20, realized the next one should have been for 30. It was $25 a pop on the average. Okay, that's no more than what you probably pay for that anytime between the hours of after 4 p.m. on Saturday to the hours of Monday morning starting again. Okay, business hours operate, and these cost you $20 new. If you have a look over here, the deck giveaway is the PCIe slot. The E is the specific. That's an E-rated PCIe slot. It goes into a single slot, and they're very common because this is what is of this day and age. Okay, you can get something of this equivalent that's going to cost you $20 if you know where to shop. If not, $30 new is as much as you're going to ever pay. Okay, so only through desperation, only through the requirement that you need to start up a system on the weekend, and this is laying over from the weekend currently, so that's something to consider. On the other hand, we've got ourselves over here something that on the other hand, one little thingo. Difference is that's $30, frankly. Can you believe it? I'll tell you what, that old school connection there on that side, that's a PCI slot. And if you want to buff up an old school PC, currently it's got a little clicky switch on it as well. But if you want to buff up an old school PC, then you're not going to be able to, give it Wi-Fi that easily unless you got one of those cards that I just showed you and you're using one of the old slots. That means that any modern old school PC that still has those single slots that's advertised in that picture there for that card can still be utilized for something else that is more modern, that will buff that PC up further. So you got something of value. You probably spend $100 on it, get it up and running, get something decent, chuck an old NVMe attached to that PCIe slot, and you got something really interesting there, don't you? You just have to wonder what sort of performance you're going to get out of it. Someone should do that. I would if I had the spare cash, but I don't currently. So let us move on. Okay, so we got some RAM here. G-Skill Ripjaws, 4 gigabytes of RAM. Moving on, we've got ourselves some Corsair Vengeance, 2400 megahertz, 8 gigabytes, $25, people. $25. Is that DDR3 or is that DDR4? Now, 2400 megahertz does cap out your DDR3 equivalent RAM, but 2400 megahertz is also the beginning of your DDR4. Generally, there is an overlap you find regarding those RAM modules, okay? And the highest of the last era is generally the lowest of the new era, get me? So we'll go back to that. So that's something to clarify here. For $25 for 8 gigabytes, I buy it either way, frankly. Nikon A7 only been used for a couple of months, then decided to upgrade. So either way, just go for it depending on what it is. Just make sure you're clarifying that beforehand so that it meets the specs and the requirements of yourself, okay? So then moving on, for $50, we've got 4 gigabytes of RAM, 2400 megahertz as well. Again, we've got the Ripjaws. This will be probably DDR3 also, if that's the case, and at 16 gigabytes, okay? 16 gigabytes, people. Essentially, you're going to have yourself something that will deck out a DDR3 system. That's plenty of RAM in dual channel at 8 gigabytes a piece. Okay, you're going to be cruising, okay, still to this day with some sort of system of that caliber decked out. Okay, so be content, get it for $50. It's worth it. Okay, let's go. Okay, so next, on the other hand, again, this is what I'm talking about, graphics card, GTX $560, $50, great for boot, nothing more at the time. A 1 gigabyte, $50, a little too much. Okay, this is pretty clean, I guess. You know, mine's cleaner. I was offering 30 at one stage for similar equivalents. Okay, on the other hand, we go up in the spectrum. GTX 570 graphics card, $30. Here we go, people, we got a player. Okay, so need a cheap GPU to get an older computer running. This old school card, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This guy knows his shit and he's not ripping you off. 1.2 gigabytes of VRAM, 2 DVI slots are HDMI. Now understand DVI slots, don't be afraid of these, okay, because little $2-3 adapter. Hopefully he's got the box, but a little $2-3 adapter and you've got yourself something that can run into HDMI very easily. DVI spec stuff is pretty much the same as basic HDMI. Don't be afraid of it. That's what I'm saying to you, okay? I've got actually an old DVI cable about 20 meters long, 15 meters long, selling $13. You know, a lot of people will still come in handy for. I think it's actually already sold. So that's interesting. He's in Rowville, and that's a fun place to go as well. There's a lot of hilly sort of areas around that area. List a few, getting out to Dandenong Mountain and Dandy Mounts, and let's go to Cuckoo. I think that's a restaurant up there. I haven't been. So the GTX 1060, 3 gigabyte, people, and this is what I'm talking about. I love the fact that these cards are available for young enthusiastic builders who want to actually build themselves. Let's get off that, it's not fair to him. Young enthusiastic builders, because Steve is a awesome fella to have these available at such a competitive price. What price is that? $240. Okay, $240 for a 1060 GTX in stock. Steve Shen, you get a shout out, frankly. He joined Facebook in 2019. He knows his shit. He's also from around the suburb of Hawthorn. We'll go the Hawks. They're a football team in Australia. I love the Hawks, but Hawthorn on the other hand, and it's people, I tell you what, they got a lot of good furniture when they have hard rubbish, frankly. I got a friends that like to roam that area to deck out their new school places with new school furniture. Thank you, Hawthorn. Shout out to you. Let's go. Now, on the other hand, we're going to have a look at Steve's profile because he needs some digging, frankly. Steve, on the other hand, is a very, very serious looking fella. He's got friends and he likes to advertise that to everyone as well. So good on you, Steve, but at least they're close to him. You know how close they are because they really give him a smile. Okay, so let's not let's not send Steve a message. Steve Sean, I thought he was squinting. I don't know if he's squinting or greasing me off. He's got another card for 140. I think he must have GTX 1050 for 140. Okay, he's got a GTX 1060 for 240. Okay, he's got a Gigabyte Z68 Mat X motherboard for 85, and then he's got a GTX 1050 for 140. But this 2 GB 1050 is an odd concoction because for $140, that's insane. Look at all the ports. They're not even all going to work, frankly, from my understanding. They're gonna bug out. You got a choice of what you can use, I'm guessing, but they don't all work. They won't for a 2 GB card like that. So that's something that you will want to take to the bank, people. So that's enough on Steve Shen there. Thank you, Steve. From Hawthorn, you got your new, used, new cards for almost starting price. Good on you, buddy. Good luck to you there. GTX 1050, people. Did we start with this? I think we did. So that's where it's come from. I did grab it for the list for later on. This fella is around Aspendale Gardens. That's a lovely area. There's a nice lake there. You can walk around Aspendale, have a little cup of coffee. These people are very, very civil though, frankly, very down to earth, and I like Aspendale Gardens. Shout out to Aspendale, Melbourne. Let's go. So next on the list, we've got a Fab Vintage Handsold. This is actually in collectibles, people. I saw this scrolling down and I thought it an interesting pick. $25, you never know. It's, you know, if anything, it's a great doorstop, okay? On the other hand, that $25 Handsold CRT monitor, okay, that's what we call them specialty wise, you know, CRT monitors. CRT monitors can fetch up fair penny if you're lucky with the right buyer and you're patient enough. upwards of $600 easy. Okay, so that's something to consider, people, when you're looking at a retro school grade sort of approach. Understand though, these could be picked up from the side of the road, they could have been rained on. You really need to have these working. If someone's saying they're working, have them plug it in for you. Frankly, have them plug it in for you if it's working, and get it to at least start up and see some light to it. Okay, because that thing will blow up literally in your face. Kaboom! Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We'll thank this gentleman or lady for their interesting post. It's brought some nostalgic moments to me. So this is a great time after that CRT monitor, people, to just give a shout out to our Robbi Tech Twitter page. So as you can see, we'll scroll down the list, and speaking of CRT monitors, whoop, there it is. Okay, so there's us playing New School Grand Theft Auto 5. Love it. Long time. Forgot to network as a child, teen, as I thought Facebook would be replaced easily enough with the next fad, while being too busy playing single player titles like GTA. Come follow Robbi Tech's page on FB for all things PC and gaming related. Also on YouTube, I need friends. Let's go, people, please. Okay, so yep, that's Robbi Tech in a nutshell. That's me, and I'm here as well. So let's continue on. So we've got something a little bit more shinier now to have a look at. Here we go. It's a GTX GeForce 980 Ti 6GB graphics card at $150. Use good, MSI 140, done deal. Okay, 150. Perhaps it's a beautiful looking blower style card. Frankly, it brings back some memory, depending on if you've got a tight, little small compact system. You're looking for a card right now that is probably decent. It's because of the shape, there's been some care to it. Hopefully it hasn't been flared up too much regarding heat dissipation and its utilization. She may get hot, but she does have a blower style cooler. Something to note, it may be a little louder than other cards, but with that in mind, it will also work its way a little better in a smaller form factor build. That's something to consider here. 980 Ti for $150, great price. He could even be firm, frankly. I broke two tiny pieces off the back of a GPU and now just shorting Surrey Hills. He's from Hawthorne as well, so this is probably, I don't want to sort of nitty pick about the Hawks and the Hawthorne. Okay, the Hawks are a different bunch of people. Hawthorne, on the other hand, we're seeming to see a painted picture coming out here, and I'd love to own a property down there, but I don't know if I could even afford my groceries the way things are looking, frankly, people. So let's move on, because it's shorting and he wants $150. Okay, that's my go-to voice for Windows. I should use that sometimes, frankly, but anyway. So here we got someone who, he makes a lot of pictures as well. He's got pictures in his youth, because he was a chatty hanger. You know that he was skateboarding down the Chatston Shopping Centre. So that's one of the largest southern equator shopping centres in the world. I shit you not. So it's also quite prestigious as well. If it's been superseded by something in Singapore or something along those lines, I apologize. I don't know exactly know. I don't traverse those regions that much anymore. I probably should. I used to work in a shopping centre for many years. Okay, so the last place I wanted to be on my weekends was a shopping mall. Okay, I hear on the side note that shopping malls are all closing down in the USA. What is going on there? So this, on the other hand, pick it up, $50, 650 watt, you can't go wrong. Talking down $5, you're done. Okay, let's go. If it works, used in excellent condition, working, and it's just been swapped for a bigger power unit. So otherwise, yeah, chatty, just near Glen Iris and Windsor. So Windsor's near Chapel Street as well. Chapel Street's a good hangout spot in Melbourne. Also, people, if you're looking to go somewhere. Okay, so that brings us to our Corsair Carbide Series 88R windowed MATX Mini ITX computer case, $35. Again, it's a solid deal, but I would probably drop it about 10 to 40 if you could. Okay, $40, then it's a taker. It's got bad front side regarding cooling capabilities. It just depends what you have inside there and what you need regarding your cooling, okay? Because the intake on the bottom side, the intakes on the side might suffice if they're not plugged up with too much dust. They will bring dust in, and depending on what sort of system you got inside, that's another story. Here on the other hand has it squashed, he's got a squashed in system, hardcore, okay, almost new Corsair window computer case, not really. Trust me, it's nowhere near new. Sales with 3 times 120mm RGB fans. Awesome. With RGB fans, very, very solid. RGB fans is something that you want to look at, people, as well. It's not your ARGB, so you're not going to get a header onto the motherboard. It's your RGB equivalents. RGB fans will also require some sort of connection that you can actually modulate the color with, okay, by pressing the switch. So that's something to make sure he's got available. He's got all those parts. He's got the power part for the RGB fans, because it's going to be needed to connect it to the SATA or the good old Molex, you know, good old Molex. Molex, let's go Molex. Molex cables, but don't knock them until you try them, frankly, okay? So mustard, yay, I love mustard and herbs. Okay, so that leaves us with a Gigabyte GTX 660 Super OC, people. Have a look at this. It is a beautiful, manky, dusty card that hasn't been used for that long, because it's probably advertised that new. I say this very, very resiliently regarding my stance. He has to be a new card. Let's have a look at the back side. Yeah, that's the front side slash. Look at that. That is awesome. All those ports probably can be used upside down pictures, you know, on the PCB. That's just perfect, mate. You know your stuff, and I trust you. I'm going to give you 450 guys. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, fitties, and that's 450 for you. Only use for 5 months, basically like new selling, because I'm moving overseas. You are definitely running overseas, but you're not running anywhere without that sale. So drop that figure, please, quickly, buddy, if you're going overseas. Okay, I'm also considering selling my entire system with Ryzen 5 3600 XT and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Awesome. Let me know if you are interested in buying the whole thing. He's from Hawthorne, people. This is what I'm talking about. No offense, but Hawthorne's starting to get a bad reputation regarding people who are just stingy bastards, okay? So let us go stingy people. Let's go, people. Let's leave our fella JH Kwong. Come on, bro. A buck's a buck, but the buck's stopping short. Ain't that the line, you know? The buck's stopping short with this post. Enough is enough. Please let us move on, people. PC parts 180 in stock. 180, but for 450 we only get the graphics card. That's all right. He'll hook you up with the rest, okay? Fully functioning, previously used as a light gaming PC. R6, Rust, Fortnite, PUBG. I believe that. Never overclocked. Great setup for just because you couldn't be bothered, or you didn't know, you just wanted to sell it without it being touched. Interesting, guys. It's an i5 3570K, no cooler. I believe they came with the original cooler back then. I think they had to. It wasn't a thing that Intel was skimping out on. So that is a worry, because he never overclocked. Why did he get himself a better cooler? I don't understand that. That's something that you would have to think about. Never overclocked, guy. Thank you. We know the drill when it comes to never overclocked. Okay, so that's something to look at. But again, it's got an i5 3570K, no cooler, so you're going to need to deal with that. It's probably a cooler nowadays for that's going to be, you know, 50 to 100 bucks, you know, so you're going to have to chuck that onto the 280 to get that running. It's not starting, and you're not going to know if it works until you've got a compatible cooler, okay? I've probably got a couple of spares here for you, frankly. You can hook me up, send me a message, chuck me a comment, okay? That's the one without a fan, but the rest of them, I assure you, they have. That's another one. These are just placeholders. I do have, hold on a minute, I've got something. What the fuck is going on here? I've got something over here. So if we drop that, we've got some nice nice coolers, and it's got a smiley face. And these, oh, that's actually that's a 775 beast of a roasty cooler that people will say is crap, but it looks like a Wraith sort of a cooler, doesn't it? That's pretty cool, you know. And it's got actual bolts on it, so I use that for overclock 775 boards, frankly. But I do have some spare coolers that will probably fit that bill as well. I just don't sell them all the time because I just don't. I know I'm going to need them eventually to help start up some system. Maybe they'll need it or something as well. So fully functioning. So apart from that, MSI Z778 GT80 board, 8 gigabytes, 1333 megahertz RAM. I believe it's 1336 technically, but deep cooled Tesseract case, no fans, Thermaltake light power, 550 power supply. He's got a little bit more in the description, so we'll see if there's nothing else there. He's in Lilydale, near Churnside Park and Rural Bark. So that coming from our fella Toby. Toby is a go-getter 2011 setter. Okay, so Toby finds that with the case, it ain't bad. I go there, I play around with it. All the SATA cables, the actual power supply, the board, as well as the case. 8 gigs will get you booting. If you got another couple, you're rolling. Okay, that's right. Storm and Norman, let's go back and get that 50 of that good stuff and chuck that into here, or not. Get that other one, the 25 bucker, and you're done. You're ripped for the day because you're fully set up, people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. But next on the agenda, we've got an entry-level gaming PC. I love these PCs. It needs a bit of a dusty. So dusty. And people, welcome to Robbi Tech. Please hit the socials above and or below in the description as well. So that's all there for yous personally. So don't forget, chuck us a like and or a follow if you found this at all entertaining and or in some way, shape or form educational, that helps you buy some parts, be a bit more established in yourself and confident, so that you could be a go-setter and get those PC part deals on the used parts marketplace, FB marketplace, PC market race. Does it exist? Does it not in this day and age? Places. So let us continue on. So we've got ourselves a potential steal if it's the price is right. i5 4590. Gaming motherboard, that's never been overclocked, people, so that's something to consider. Gaming motherboard B85MD3H, so that's your general equivalent. That's going to run your 4590. That's pretty, 8 gigabytes RAM, 4 gigabytes of Kingston HyperX Pelby DDR3, MS Radeon R9 380, Windows 10 Pro, 480 gigabyte SSD. And we're not going to look at his options, okay? He's close to Hawthorne, so he's probably pricing from around the area, but I hope not. So he's got these options there. That's great, but that's useless if you don't grab the PC. He's got all these peripherals attached with the boxes. That's awesome if you want to off-sell them, maybe clean them up, spruik them up, make some money. But realistically, the monitor's crap. Mouses really, unless they're pristine, ain't gonna go for that much. Really, you have to be realistic. I think the most I got from a mouse recently, apart from pedigree legacy sort of items, is your good old run-of-the-mill sort of MOBO role-playing / MMORPG specialty, 20 buttons on the side, top of a deal, and that was $80 pristine condition when they go for about $130 at the shops with the box completely in and untampered with in that regard. So that's a steal. This on the other hand is pretty much going there. So keyboard, but he's got a headset as well, so that's something to consider. 24-inch Thankyou. Borderline you'd be giving those away almost sooner rather than later. That could be an LCD monitor as well, so that could chew some power. It's something to consider. For $150, it is an option that you want to be smart about and see if you can hold off on that mechanical keyboard that you're looking at. But coming back to his price, $450 is a massive stretch, frankly, for this PC currently in this day and age. But with Windows 10 and a 480 gigabyte SSD, you get the option of chucking in for $25 some extra RAM. drop into 425, 375 range if he's willing to budge, and you're happy with that medium, then that cable tied mess, that's going to do. I don't know why. I don't think he's got the back case cover on it as well. It's sort of adding light, I guess, but it's showing off the fact that you haven't bothered dusting it. So who's done that for you exactly? You know, get a cloth, do something, please. You're gonna have to be careful with that little clip there as well. That little clip's got very close to that outtake fan. You're gonna get home, and if you don't know anything about computers, you're gonna hear and you're gonna be freaking out. Just that's probably it there. Okay, that's something to look at. On the other hand, I'm very annoyed that I'm sure he's got a little spot down there between the graphics card that he can get that up. That's long enough that he could have pulled that around the back side. Very difficult spot to get it in, but it's not like this cooler is overly large. In actual fact, I'm debating what it is, how it's positioned, and how it's placed. Okay, something that I think it's an international sort of a go-to cooler for everything. That's very El Cheapo as well, the 4590. Surprised it hasn't got the original cooler on it as a 4590 as well. That's something to also think about. You know what I mean? He wanted to spruik his system up, or is he trying to make a tidy little profit from around the Hawthorne area? We have to thank Davis Zeng for his time. Let's move on, people. So here we've got ourselves a gaming PC, people. I love these gaming PCs. You know why? You can game on them. Okay, but what sort of gaming will we be doing today, please? So we've got someone from Bayswater, around Croydon, Forest Hill, the Basin. That's, you know, around the Montrose area as well. Kurt is what is he today? He's borderline a go setter slash getter, but he's from 2012, not 2011. Okay, so let's spruik Kurt here a little bit and see whether he can sell his system. Gaming PC, Strix Nvidia GTX 1060 Strix OC. He's asking 675. That's the advertising. That's what's getting your attention. He's got my attention. 675. I hope he's willing to play ball here. We're going to be negotiating with Kurt. If we already, without looking, get him to about 550, that's a consideration that I'll consider. But 450, that's another story. That's a 6GB graphics card, people. That GTX 1060 Strix OC is definitely a trendsetter from back in the day. Very good value for money. Nowadays, on the other hand, surprisingly holding its value from its previous days and age past yonder. But keeping that in mind, you have to really consider at one stage something's going to give regarding graphics cards. They're going to start flooding the market, and you suddenly the value of this is going to drop half to half. Okay, instantaneously. That's what's holding the system together. What else has he got though? Without looking too much, great PC with listed specs. The listed specs and an upgraded GPU, okay, will run 95% of games on 60 frames per second smoothly and higher frame rates. Okay, also has upgraded DDR4 RAM at 24GB now, so loading times are extra quick. 24GB, people. 4 modules, 8, 16, 24, that's 3. Has he got a 4th module there? That's 32. So he's got actually 4, 8, 16, 24. He's got 2 8s and 2 4s. That's a bit of a mismatch, but I'll tell you what, if he's got them running in an optimal fashion, that's optimum performance running from bang for buck, okay? So hopefully he actually chucked in 2 8s after the fact that he had 2 4s. We're going to check his specs right now and find out. So he had 2 4s, so he upgraded and he knows what he's doing in regards to that. You have to give him that much. He started out with a GTX 750 1GB graphics card. That would have been worth jack all. So if we price that up though with that original card in this day and age with what is a 44060 processor, understand if we go back, we actually had a stronger i5 processor for a very cheaper price. Okay, that was around 450, wasn't it, from recollection? So just always traverse back. Hit me in the comments if I made a mistake. I'll happily correct myself in the edits. But otherwise, 4460 i5s, 675. Let's price the system up now. We're going out 120 with the 170 to the, let's do top dollar at the 200 plus 25, another 25, 225, 230, 330, 370, Seasonic G Plus 420 with a case, 420 with the case. The case looks like it's got really odd sort of cooling capabilities. 420, 470, 570 for the card on top of negating the previous one. 570 to the 600 no more. Okay, in that system with the package how it is. You hope he's upgraded to Windows 10, or maybe that's why he's selling it. He hasn't bothered upgrading. Okay, that's something to consider as well. A lot of upgrading. You're not going to have it up and running instantaneously if that's the case. He might be accurate with that graphics card. That graphics card, if you get that on a separate steel for around the same price, so you know, anywhere from under 250, 240, 230, 230, definitely 220, 210, 200. Then, but remember, this is GDDR5. Even though it's got 6 gigabytes, it is the OC variant. It should be binned very well. It should be able to be clocked very well. He knows his shit though, guys. So he's been running it hard. Okay, so we don't get a chance, or do we get a chance? We don't. It's dusty, it's manky. I hate to see the underside of that. But let's move on, people. Thank you very much again, Kurt, for that price. So here we've got something else. It's a used good condition, something or other, gaming PC, no GPU or RAM. Well, it's not really for gaming then, isn't it? It's more for sitting there waiting for you to get more parts. At $750 originally to $600 is definitely making a consideration. From my understanding, it looks like the case has some minor cosmetic damage. I would also recommend buy transfer components into larger case to allow for further upgrades. So he's honest as well. Not included GPU, not included RAM, not included the power cable. So what do we get for our $600? We get a Smart Power 550 watt power supply. I can see that right there. That is awesomeness. $30 to $50 if you're lucky, maybe $60 if you're struggling. Okay, and so we've got that 50, that cooler, great, 2 fans, cooler master, second hand, $50. That's no more 100. What else we got? We got a fan. We got another fan, maybe not. Look, 3 case fans, only one currently installed. So okay, $120. And what else has this guy got? What's his name? Matthew Alexander. Please don't be from Hawthorne, Matthew. That would have been the trifecta. I would be on a roll, but he's from Doreen, so he's out in the Whoop Whoop area, I believe. And we call it Whoop Whoop, and the cops go. Anyway, so from Doreen, Matthew, thank you for this contribution to our what is essentially now potentially going to become an essential roast, because it's needed with you, babe. You are a crazy mofo. Let's go for asking this sort of. I hope that's a typo. It's got a HDD 1 terabyte. Yeah, great, bro. It's got a Samsung Super Master DVD, not even a Blu-ray, bro. Preloaded with Windows 10 Home. No license, bro. Let's go. I don't care about your Gigabyte Ethernet network card. We've already established what's going on there. Add a couple of other things. It's got an i7 6850K. That is a stretch, people. That is an effing stretch. I don't care who you are. 2011 borderline 2011 era as well, frankly. No, it's not. It's a little bit newer than that, to be honest. Look, it's solid back in the day, but that's all there is, you know. So what's he asking for? Like, what is he asking for? You know, maybe if he had some RAM, maybe if he had something else, maybe if he had, like, it's preloaded. You got no case fans even connected. You know how to do that. You know, you preload, or you wasted all your time preloading that stuff. So we're going to move on. That's a give or take, probably a miss. I don't even know if we should scroll through anything up here. If there's anything of value I'm missing, it's a nice looking old. But you know, with that, you could be looking at potentially a couple of components into a nice 3600X AMD system for yourself, you know, and then you'll be feeling pretty swell as well. What else you got here? In the meantime, you can just jerry rig that shit on a goddamn test bench if you don't have a case, or just spend $10, so that's how much that's worth without its case cover, frankly, and I believe he's missing that as well. So let us move on to our next contender in this lineup, and here's our last for today, so let's assess him as well. Victor is in our minds tonight. Please let it be sublime as well. Gaming PC suitable for CSGO, Valorant, Minecraft, GTA 5, all old games, $900. Okay, what did we establish from the last guy? Ryzen 5 1600 AF, yikes, first generation Ryzen's, okay, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 240 gigabytes and 480 gigabyte SSD. The boot's at the 240, he doesn't mention that. We don't even know if it's got Windows 10 operating system on there. Otherwise he would have flipped that. He doesn't know exactly how to sell it, okay. He's given it a try. 5900 is a goddamn stretch, people. It is a massive stretch, okay. 5 fans in total, 400 watt PSU. That is spring val. Okay, we had a couple of people from our previous roast / PC use parts guide list that was from episode 2. That is linked in the description below. My name is Robbie Astral. Welcome to Robbi Tech, and check that out in the links if you're after more PC madness. Okay, PC Master Race in the FB marketplace. But here we go, back to the pictures at hand. Coming from Victor in grey, bro. Those fans real tacky, man. What are you doing? You might as well just left the picture with the fans on. Look at that. Look at that graphics card. Radeon 550. This is a joke, yeah? Did he take photos of it without a wipe on the top as well, and he's asking $900? Someone grabbed me by the neck and just shot me, frankly. I get smashed in the face. What is this shit? Bro, no. No, you're giving the PC Master Race a bad face in this Facebook marketplace. Okay, guys, so that's it. I'm done. Victor In is out of the equation. Okay, unfortunately, he's not going to make it anywhere far. But if someone buys his shit, oh man, they aspire to reach the stars as well, because they're lost in some trippy ass spell of theirs. Okay, on a side note, thank you again, guys. My name is Robbie Astral. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you got something tonight from this guide as well on the side. And peace out, people, from Robbi Tech.